The Vikings had a dominant performance on Monday night as they have clinched a playoff spot and are now tied with the Lions for the NFC North division lead. And they still have a game left to play against the Lions on Week 18. I wonder what will be the primetime game for the NFL on Week 18. They're going to be going to Seattle to take on the Seattle Seahawks, who are looking to bounce back after a tough loss on Sunday Night Football. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. And we're going to break down this Week 16 matchup between the Vikings and Seahawks. But before we do that, if you like the content that we put out and also are excited for the 2025 offseason, hit that subscribe button and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win and why. Ryan, not only did it just feel like the Vikings were the better team against Chicago anyway. It's just much better coached, a lot more organized overall. But then with everything going on with Randy Moss this week as well, you and I, we both enjoyed watching Randy Moss growing up. You being a Patriots fan, you had some fun memories with Randy Moss and the nearly perfect season. But it just felt like Minnesota wasn't going to lose this game. It was neat to see Justin Jefferson give a shout out to Randy Moss, and we're all hoping that you get better. But I thought it was just a very great performance by both sides of the ball. Really shut down Caleb Williams and that Chicago Bears offense. They had a garbage time touchdown late, but in general, though, I mean, the typical Brian Flores defense, the typical Kevin O'Connell offense. Sam Darnold looked solid. They ran the ball well. They passed the ball well. It's not really too much more you can ask for in this type of victory. I know it was only 13-0 at halftime, but it felt like it was a lot bigger lead. It was just a couple of missed opportunities for the Vikings. Yeah. And they're going to be going up against a Seahawks team who potentially could be without Geno Smith, who got hurt in the game. Sam Howell was the one that finished the game for them, so I have to monitor his status throughout the entire week to see if he plays, because that's going to be a big loss for the Seattle offense, which was clicking in the right direction. And the defense has been playing well also, but gave up 30 points, I believe, they also gave up 30 points as well to the Green Bay Packers. So want to throw it over to you here. What are some of the things with Seattle? I know they're going to be home, but they're going to be the underdog coming into this matchup here. What are some of the things they need to try and focus on to get the Minnesota Vikings off kilter?
Yeah, I mean, kind of getting after Sam Darnold, I think, has been the key his whole career. If you can get pressure on him, you can kind of throw him off his game. And making sure Justin Jefferson doesn't absolutely just destroy this defense, I think, is going to be another key priority. They have other weapons in Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, TJ Hawkinson, that they've done a really good job accumulating. However, it's just if you let Justin Jefferson start getting 6, 7, 8 catches on you, there's just no coming back from that, because once that offense gets in the rhythm, it's really tough. You can make this team one-dimensional at times. This running game, Aaron Jones is having a good year. I believe he will be a 1,000-yard rusher once when the stats from tonight's game come in. If not, he'll be very, very close. But he will definitely be a 1,000-yard rusher this season. But this offensive line is banged up. I think that they can potentially – this Mike McDonald defense can slow down this running game here as well. And then defensively, this Brian Flores defense is aggressive. They like to come after you. And so getting the ball out of whoever the quarterback's hands is early is going to be very important. Getting it into the hands of your playmakers out in space is going to be very, very crucial. The weak spot of this defense is these corners. They've been playing above, I believe, their weight, you could say, but it's still the weak spot, I think, for this team is that secondary. So all in all, this is just a really, really well-rounded Minnesota Vikings team. After all, they are 12-2. But again, I just think this is a good team coming into Seattle, and Seattle's going to have their hands full. It's definitely not an unwinnable game for them, but they have their hands full for sure.
Well, and I think that's going to be the thing that is going to be interesting to watch, is just going to be how Minnesota attacks the Seattle defense on the ground. Obviously, through the air, we know what they can do with Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson as well. But Minnesota is averaging 113.21 yards per game as well. Aaron Jones is just shy of 900 yards. So with 3 games left through the season, you're right. I do think, barring any unfortunate events, should hit 1,000 yards on the season. But one of the things that was interesting about the Seattle defense is kind of in the early part of the year, really battling some injuries on the defensive line, and they've gotten healthier. And you saw that over these past 4 or 5 games before they played Green Bay, where really kind of were stopping the runs outside of at San Francisco going back in week 11. If you go back to even week 9, they held the Rams to 68 yards, and then they had several other games where they held teams under 100 yards rushing. Even they held the Arizona Cardinals team to 121 yards in week 14, but a lot of that was in the fourth quarter. So it's like really they did a good job to kind of slow down that rushing attack. But then Josh Jacobs and Green Bay, they just came in and just dominated on the ground. They gave up 140 rushing yards to them. So that's going to be the thing is, can Aaron Jones have another performance like how he did tonight, where he is shoot. Sorry. I was looking at my link there. There you go. Where he was extremely efficient on the ground, 18 carries, 86 yards, averaging just shy of 5 yards per carry. Or is that Seattle defense going to be able to bounce back and average him and shut down this Minnesota Vikings running game, average less than 3 yards per carry? And I think it's going to be the former. I think things are clicking with Minnesota here, and all the attention that you have to bring to Justin Jefferson, to Jordan Addison, and all these weapons here, how well Sam Darnold has been playing and how efficient he has been. He really just had the one kind of bad throw that was an interception. But other than that, though, I thought it was just a solid performance overall, again, from Sam Darnold, putting the offense in the best position to succeed. And so what I'm looking at here is probably they're going to try and have they're going to have to try and shut down Justin Jefferson in this passing game. So I think it's going to take one guy out of the box for Seattle, have to rely on this defensive line, which has been playing better. But I think Minnesota is going to win that matchup. I think Aaron Jones is going to have a 90-plus yard rushing game against this team here, potentially 130-plus rushing yards as a whole, with Cam Akers in the backfield as well. Just because I think they're going to try and shut down Justin Jefferson because they got burned. Like as you said, with the secondary, they can get burned, and so they're going to try and help out that category. And they're going to falter a little bit in the running game and have Aaron Jones try and beat them, which I think they will. And on the flip side too, with Sam Howell being the quarterback, also I think Brian Flores, I think it's going to be blitz city. I think that they're just going to absolutely put the pressure on this team. This offensive line has been banged up. I'm blanking on the center's name as of right now. They had a new center start for the game against Green Bay, and that did not pan out nearly as well. It was a lot of pressure up the middle, been the more typical Seattle Seahawks interior offensive line that we're used to seeing. And so if you guys, Seahawks fans, if you could leave a comment down below, I'm blanking on this right now as we're recording this right after the Vikings game. Anyways, I just think matchup wise, I think it's just going to be tough for the Seahawks team to come out victorious here. That's why for me, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I went with Seattle. I went with you guys last week, and you guys did not show up for me, so I got to pivot to Minnesota. But also, for being honest, they're just the more hot team right now. They're just the one that's playing a little bit more assisting football. Geno Smith's status is going to be up in the air. So I think even if you're Seahawks fans, it's like, I know you're sitting at 8-6, and you're tied with the Rams for a playoff spot here. You guys are currently the one game back from Washington for the final spot and the wild card. So you really need this game, but for being honest, it's just not a good matchup, I feel, for you all going into this game.
Yeah, no, that I kind of agree with you there. I'm going with Minnesota as well. It's just a tough matchup. Minnesota, they had a little bit of like a midseason lull, it felt like, where granted they didn't lose a lot of games, but they played the Lions, lost by 2. They played the Rams and lost by 10. They had a bad game against the Colts, a really bad game against the Jaguars, a game that was too close against the Titans, a close game against the Bears the first time around. And so, like, it's just they seem to be kind of picking up their feet again and really kind of starting to sprint towards the postseason over the last couple of weeks. A dominant victory over your Falcons, a dominant victory over the Bears. Just kind of feels like that's the way that it's going. I also look at the rest of the NFC and the closing schedule for the Vikings. They have Green Bay at home and then at Detroit, who Detroit's really banged up. And I feel like injuries are going to totally derail their season. But right now, I mean, this is a team that's really competing for not even just the division, but also like the number 1 overall seed. So I think this is a team that's going to come in with a lot of urgency. They're going to come in and be pretty dominant over this Seahawks team. So We are both taking the Minnesota Vikings in this one. Let's go ahead and wrap up this matchup here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Minnesota Vikings? Will it be the Seattle Seahawks? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.